welcome to another jewelry making video brought to you by keepsakecrafts.net. Today we're going to be making this great statement necklace. It's full of all kinds of dangles and crystals and beads and mixed media. You're going to love it. So this necklace has a lot of elements to it. And I wouldn't expect that anybody would have all the exact same pieces that I have. So I'm going to just give you some guidelines as for materials for what you need. And the first thing we're going to start with are our dangles, because these really make the necklace, these vibrant hued shell beads. These are from House of Gems. And what I did, I have a dozen of these beads, and they're in different sizes, and that's fine. I also have 8 Swarovski crystal bicones. These are little 2mm clear crystals, and these are 6mm opal, and some head pins. And what I did was just made 4 with the little crystals, some on top, some on bottom of the bead, and the same with these 4 bigger crystals, and then I made 4 without crystals. And it's just a matter of taking a head pin, and I used decorative head pins. It's just a matter of sliding on a crystal, sliding on a pearl, and then we're going to make wrapped loops. But what's nice about these wrapped loops is that we can finish them before putting them on our necklace, so we can do the wraps the easy way without having to hold on to something else. And the way you make a wrapped loop is you hold on to your wire right where it comes out of the last bead with chain nose pliers, and then make a bend so that your wire is bent at 90 degrees. Then you need round nose pliers, and we're going to put the round nose pliers right in that bend and then wrap the wire up and over until you can't go any further, which will be about that far. Then you tuck your round nose pliers right back in, repositioned, and bend that wire so that it finishes that loop. And now it's at 90 degrees to where it was, to the wire that's coming out of the bead. And now I'm going to hold on to that loop with a pair of chain nose pliers in my non-dominant hand. And I'm going to take another pair of chain nose pliers. I love these bent nose for this. And I'm going to take the rest of that wire and wrap it around this little bit that's coming out of the bead. And now here's a good tip for you to use quality materials. These are actually rather inexpensive head pins, and I found it doesn't seem to be happening on this one, but on several the gold part was flaking off and they just don't work nicely. So I really like to use sterling silver or silver filled, just nicer materials than base metals, but this will work too, especially if you're practicing. So once you have a couple wraps, take a pair of flush cut pliers, have the flush side towards the wire that you're keeping, and trim that wire. That way you have a nice flush cut on your piece. And then you can take your chain nose pliers and just tuck that in. Check with your fingers and make sure that there isn't anything sharp there. And you're going to repeat these steps to make a dozen dangles. So once I finished making my dangles, I actually strung them on a piece of wire, tied it in a knot, and brought it to the craft store with me, looking for a pendant. I wasn't in the mood for making one. I thought I would look and see if there was one I could buy that I liked. And I found these. These are really cool. They're Artie Cake by Amy Labe. I found these at Michael's, and they're very interesting. Mixed media pieces. This little nest. In fact, she's already started mixing metals. She's got the antique gold nest and the copper bird. And so I decided to use this as my focal point for my necklace. Now, like I mentioned, I really liked the way all the different elements were combined in this bird and nest piece, and so I decided to bring out those elements for my necklace. First of all, I selected these 6mm check glass faceted beads, because there's the sparkles in the nest, and I thought those would be pretty. And then also these gold-plated, antique gold-plated fluted beads I thought would be pretty. And then also I pulled out a few antique gold bead caps. And these, I'm not going to put them on every single one of the crystals, just like half of them. And then I decided to add a couple charms. I have these little gears, the copper gears, because I've got the gold in here, so I wanted to bring out some of the copper. So I've got these little gears that I thought I would put in between the shells, and I'm going to use these oval jump rings. I love oval jump rings because the split, you can see, so I can show you, is here. And that means as something naturally is going to hang this way, there's no chance of it falling through the split. So I love these oval jump rings. So I'm going to use those to attach my copper gears. Just to show you, I've actually already gone and strung one side of the necklace. That so you can see it a little bit. And I just strung, for every antique gold fluted bead, I strung 2 crystals, one with bead caps on either side of it, but I didn't make really a pattern. In fact, I tried to make sure that I didn't do an exact repeating pattern. And then, so every 3 of those beads, I strung on one of these pearls, and then in between the 2nd and 3rd, and the 4th and 5th, I put one of these, because these jump rings are so big, they kind of float over those beads. So you can see I've finished all my stringing, and I actually went ahead and finished off this end. Since the weight of all these beads and crystals and metal pieces adds up, I decided to finish this with 2 crimps, just for extra security. So you'll need a total of 2 wire protectors, 4 crimps, and 4 crimp covers to finish your ends. I also found these copper-plated cage beads that I thought were pretty, just to keep going with the mixing of the metals. And it's kind of a pretty transition between the strung part and the chain, which is going to be copper. So I've trimmed my wire end, and I'll just settle those down and make sure there's no big gaps. And then we're going to slide on, let me zoom in a little for you. We're going to slide on 2 crimps. And again, we're mixing metals. I've got a gold-plated wire protector and antique gold-plated crimp covers. So 2 crimps, and then in one hold the wire protector, and out the other. And I'm going to slide on the loop of my cage bead here. And then I'm going to slide this wire back through both crimps. Okay, and then we'll pull that up. Make sure you leave a little space, because we have crimp covers going here, and we don't want to pull it so tight that it's stiff and doesn't drape nicely. It's better to have a little bit more room than not enough. I'm going to squeeze this wire protector closed so it makes a teardrop. And then use my chain nose pliers to flatten the crimps. Test it. And then I'm going to flatten the other one. There's really no way to test the second one. You just have to have faith that if you did it right the first time, you'll do it right the second time. Trim that wire nice and close. Make sure you trim the right wire. Have you ever trimmed the wrong one? It does happen. Use crimping pliers to pick up a crimp cover and cover up those crimps. Squeeze gently. Squeeze hard and you get a misshapen. look. If that's what you're going for, then by all means, squeeze hard. But I think this is such a nice look. It just looks like there's a couple of beads here. And it's a very finished, professional look. I have two 7-inch pieces of chain, and this is, you may recognize these gears, that's where I got them. And I'm just going to attach that with one of these oval jump rings. That's done the same way and the round one. Split at 12 o'clock, 2 pairs of chain nose pliers, twist it open. I've already used a jump ring to attach a clasp to one end. And yeah, I want the clasp to be on the right side. So that goes through the cage bead and through the chain. Close it securely. Repeat to attach your other chain on the other side, and you're done. I just have a couple more details to add. First of all, I'm going to add this little dangle to the end of the chain. It's kind of a nice finishing touch to put a matching bead on the end. And there's a jump ring already here, so we'll just open that and put on the dangle. And then finally, I wanted to tie this nest in just a little bit with the pink beads. And so I found these little crystal, 4mm pink Swarovski crystals. And I'm just going to use these little tools. It's got a gob of wax on one end and some super glue. I'm just going to put a drop of super glue and then add my little crystals. Usually when you buy these tools you get 2, so you can pick up with one end and then pop it off with the other. And then that is my necklace done. Here's another look at the necklace we made today. It really does make quite a statement. I hope that you'll take a look around at what beads you have that you would like to use to make yourself a great, impressive piece of jewelry that you would love to wear anywhere. Thanks so much for watching Keepsake Crafts videos. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing, and click like if you like this video. Also check out my blog, keepsakecrafts.net, where I have lots more creative ideas and inspiration.